Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Devin Meskar, and I wanted to do a quick primer slash explanation on the WannaCry ransomware from this past spring. Most people have probably heard it from the news, maybe even heard about it at work. I was assuming with my audience, everybody has heard about it, maybe not sure quite how to get rid of it just yet, or how to protect against said malware. So first, we'll go to what is it. So it's a ransomware that encrypts local files onto a machine once it is infected. It's also known as Wanna and WCry, and also known as Crypter and Decrypter. And this happened again in May of 2017. And an interesting statistic about this malware is that actually it affected mostly Windows 7 PCs. Most people would seem to think that it's actually Windows XP. Well, actually, it was Windows 7. Now, this happened mainly because of a couple of different things. There was an NSA exploit called Eternal Blue. This is CVE 2017-0145. This exploit exploits the server message block and NetBIOS services of Windows XP to 2012, as well as all the way up to Server 2016, depending on whether or not they have been patched. And then once a machine has been infected, it actually goes and scans for more machines to infect, trying to use the exploit to go ahead and do so. And it connects for domains listed on the slides in order to see if it is actually in a VMware environment. Now, if it finds these domains, it stops all execution, which is an interesting discovery, meaning that when the researcher that actually found these domains registered them, it actually stopped the malware almost cold in its tracks. Now, this actually probably saved 100,000 more computers probably per hour, because this infected about 180,000 computers in probably about 2 days. So there was probably a pretty fortunate thing that actually they found it. Now, when it gets into the systems, it actually scans for them, like I said, and the server message block that it actually uses is actually an older version. That would be version 1. Now, that gets into how to protect against said malware. Well, because of this, you can disable server message block version 1. Pretty simple step. Also, you can install the Microsoft hotfix that Microsoft released actually about 2 weeks prior to the malware being released to the general populace. You can also run an up-to-date antivirus, as almost every major antivirus software now has a signature to detect WCry. Also, you can go ahead and create a firewall rule to block incoming TCP traffic on port 445. This would be SMB traffic. This should help keep most computers from even being exposed to WCry in the first place. Now, part of the problem would be, well, what happens, once you've actually been infected with it? So, you can actually go ahead and register the command and control domains for WCry. They were registered, or in the event of a different strain of WCry, which there actually have been some different ones, you can register those command and control domains if they exist. Lots of the ones that exist now actually do not have the command and control server domains. This is because if you get a malware person, a malware analyst who finds your source code and actually finds those domains, they will do it again and register those domains, and you won't be able to get very far. Also, you can go ahead and run the decryptor tool called WannaCry right here. What this does is it takes advantage of issues that exist within the Microsoft API that the tool actually uses to do the encryption. What this relies on, as far as that vulnerability in the API, is that the API actually leaves the P and key values for the encryption in RAM. It doesn't just get rid of them as soon as it's done encrypting. So what the software does is it goes into memory, looks for those P and key values, P and Q values to see if they still exist. If they still exist, those P and Q values can then be used to actually compute the secret key that was used to encrypt the person's files. Now, this isn't a 100% foolproof guarantee that you will get your files back. It is kind of a last-ditch effort if you don't have your backups. Otherwise, the best remedy for an infected system is to go ahead and, 1, wipe that machine. You can't trust it anymore, period. And then 2, restore from backup. This is pretty standard operating procedure for most companies and most users who have a very infected machine. Now, also, in an effort to remedy not so much this situation, but current situations, being that the WannaCry malware actually exploits a zero-day vulnerability found by the National Security Agency, known by most people as the NSA, there has now been congressional work done to create an act called the Patch Act. And this now creates a governing body that determines if the potential threat posed by a zero day that is being used by the NSA or the FBI or the CIA or other intelligence agencies is actually something that the public should know about. Now, this is good because it means that we can avoid potential situations like this in the future, but yet also still have that competitive advantage in nation-state cyber warfare and defense. So we have a little bit of oversight, but we still have that key difference. And then these are my references for this presentation, and you can go ahead and go look at these references, read the articles, kind of get a better idea. Most of it is from Ars Technica and some of it from Microsoft themselves.